sempre amerò, sì, sì, nel mio penare, amando penerò, ma sempre amerò, sì, sì, nel mio penare, penerò, amerò, giudicare, penerò, amerò,
Hey. Got it?
Yeah.
Good job. So the first thing I want to say is that you really do have a musical way of singing. The line, the way that you're really, you know, we talk about pulling taffy and having the line be really lyrical and like, you know, smooth. You have that. That's the way that you're doing, and your intonation. You have really good intonation. There are a couple of things with the Italian that you consistently did wrong. One is every time you said mio, you went mio. So the accent is on mio every time you say it. And the other thing is that you did a diphthong at the end of all of the A vowels. You went A instead of A. So we'll stop you. We're just going to take it like measure by measure a little bit and fix those as we get to them. One thing that you said at the beginning before everybody got here that I would be able to tell that you're a musical theater singer. There is that kind of brightness, you know, that it's lovely, but it can also be sung in this. The one thing that I think needs to happen to make it a little bit more on the classical line is loft, and I talk about this a lot. So instead of being wah 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 like, and this is not how he sounds. I'm exaggerating to get the point across, but instead of this kind of yeah da da, to be more like da da da. And I think you could use a little bit more support.
All things that Ami has said many times.
So at the very beginning, let's start with the beginning. Oh, the other thing I want to talk about is, do you know what every word that you're singing means?
I think in the version I have it as an English translation.
So I would never go by those because the word order is different. Like in Italian, you would say, for beautiful eyes, you would say gli occhi belli, which means eyes beautiful. So when you're singing in English, you say beautiful eyes. So if they put the translation beautiful eyes, then you can be emphasizing the word eyes instead of beautiful, which is the adjective, which is what you really want to emphasize. So doing a word for word translation, write the exact meaning of every word you're singing. And back in the old days, guys, I used to have to go to the library and get a dictionary and literally sit there and write them out. And now all you have to do is type into Google word for word translation. And that's what I did this morning. And I can even, it just popped right out. And this even gave me the IPA, which, do you know what IPA is? The International Phonetic Alphabet. So it gives you the exact pronunciation in each one, which would help you because then you would see that there's no diphthong. You know? So this is so much easier now to learn music than it was in the 80s and even the 70s in my case. So that was really, really good. What I'd like to do is, can you go to the piano and just like pick some notes out before we do it again? So
Let me pull out his sheet music. What's your best tip for support too?
we're going to talk through that, but with the support, it's all about the breath, right? So when you breathe in, I want it to feel more grounded in your body. But before we do that, let's just start with the per la gloria and just sing only there. Okay. We're just going to start right here. So just give him that, give him the A. Just, okay, so you're going a little bit.
Yeah.
Do this. Sing per. Just sing per.
Per.
Okay, that had a little bit too much aspiration in the P. That was more of an American P. It's almost a cross between a B and a P. So,
Per.
Okay, good. Now, what I want you to do with this, instead of thinking think a little bit more and I know it sounds weird because it sounds like it's too modifying, but it won't be in your voice. Go.
Yeah.
Okay. Do it one more time. That was too much beat. One more time, listen. Okay, so for the O, I want you to make more lips.
Gloria.
Yeah.
Bella gloria.
That was smoother. I like that better. It had a warmth to it.
Mm.
So I don't want a false warmthness. Have you guys listened to some of these singers that are kind of classical? And I don't want to name names in case anybody likes them, but they use a lot of tongue tension to darken their sound. Like instead of singing, they get this kind of tight. The Germans call it a knördel, where it's almost a little Kermit the Froggy, like, you know that sound? So people have a tendency when I talk, or any singer talks about going to a more lofty sound to tighten right here. So that's just something to be aware of. Let's do it one more time, just. Now.
Gloria.
Okay, you did one little scoop there, which was a little pop style. You went a little like scooping from underneath. So this style is very on. You start on the pitch right with the consonant or the vowel, whatever it is starting.
Okay.
Bella gloria.
Okay, now I want to talk to you one thing because I don't see anything happening. Can I touch your ribs?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Just have to ask permission. So can you breathe in for me? So you got some nice hair there. Now can you just bend your knees a little bit before you start and connect from here? Now let it all go and do it again. Just let go, breathe out. Now stand back up. Do you feel what's happening here? These are called your intercostal muscles. They're the muscles around the lungs, around the ribs. They spread a little bit. So do that again. Breathe in. Try to make my hands go further apart. Yes. Can you do that a couple of times? Now I want you to breathe in before we start. I'm going to put my hands back there. And right before you start, I want you to kind of ground your feet a little bit into the ground. So. You need to go lower with your body. Go a little bit just for this exercise.
Yeah.
Bella gloria.
That was better. That felt a little bit more like it had some air underneath it without being airy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it one more time.
Okay.
I know, no, I really. Can you breathe in here? Yes, right here. Now put.
Bella gloria.
Okay, so you did a little bit of a scoop there again. I know, I'm so picky with this, but I know because you can do it. I can tell how musical you are, and I just want it to be cleaner. So one more time.
Bella gloria.
Make it higher, friend.
Thank you.
I think it's kind of making your neck go down too much. So
Sam also knows this, so you don't need to keep looking up the sheet.
Yeah.
You sung this for like a year.
So
Pull it.
this is just a security blanket?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Nothing to hide behind anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. When you sing, can you think you have like a marionette, like a string from the top of your head? Do your shoulders a little bit like this. Now get into your feet, feel your toes. Breathe. You can put your hands on your own ribs. Feel some space happen, almost like a bellows. Do you know what a bellows are for a fire? Really think. And as soon as you get that good air and feel grounded, then it's right on top of it.
Bella gloria.
You did, that was, I thought, better, except you still did. I want
Yeah.
Gloria.
much better. That's exactly how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So, without the schmutzy wootsy stuff, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so it's this fine line because you want it to all be connected and like pulling taffy on the line, but it needs to be clean at the same time. So you're not manipulating the neck by, you know, doing, like in pop music, you might, what's a pop song? I can't even think of a pop song right now, but like,
I got my driver's license last week, just like
yeah, well, that's too new for me. I'm thinking of
No, you know that one.
my old man, right?
Okay.
So, you know, that kind of scoop, that doesn't exist
Or like
in
in jazz,
opera.
I'd last.
But that is a different scoop than
Yeah.
a pop scoop too, because that has some vibrato usually. But anyway, so what I want you to do is think when you start that song that you are grounded in your body, that you're supported, and that this air, okay, this is important, that the air is alive, that it's vibrating, that it's sparkly and it has colors. And this way you're never going to get this kind of pushed, like stilted kind of pushed into this really, you know, staid place where the air gets harsh. So if you have to think of, it's a buoyancy. So even though you're grounded and even though you're supporting, there's a buoyancy and a lightness in the body so that you don't get stuck anywhere and that you don't get stiff in the neck.
Yeah.
So I want you to do more of it. So let's start over from the beginning. Every phrase, I want you to replant yourself mentally. Oh, you can do the accompaniment.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Let's do the accompaniment again because that'll be easier. So every time. So, and you know what I did like? I liked kind of what you were doing with the little trill. You know, at the end of the phrase. You made it something instead of just skimming over it. So we'll stop when we get there.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get the shoulders back. You don't need to be too high. Think here. And then also think of your feet,
E la gloria d'adorarvi, voglio amarvi, o luccicare. E la gloria d'adorarvi, voglio amarvi, o luccicare.
Okay, stop. So did you hear yourself go Ray?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the note there? Can you just give me, yeah, but right before that,
Chicare.
voglio amarvi. Voglio, it's an E.
Voglio
Yeah. So, voglio amar, right? From
Yeah.
there.
Voglio amarvi, o luccicare.
That was it.
Thanks.
Good focus.
Yeah.
That was really good. Let's keep going. No, I don't want the hands in the pockets.
Yeah.
I really want you to be thinking about the words of the song. So let's talk about that real quick, because it repeats so many times. There's not
Yeah.
a lot to remember here. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at yours. So here we go. So, per la gloria d'adorarvi. Do you know what that means?
Thinking.
So, per la gloria, for the glory, and da.
I can't see your
Moving
face.
it out. Okay, so look. So the d'adorarvi is of admiring you. For the glory of just looking at you and admiring you. So you're a musical theater guy. I'm sure when you sing musical theater stuff, you're trying to express the song and tell the story of the song.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. And you have to not be going so far ahead. It has to be in the present moment because this is a character. This was originally from an opera. So as in musical theater, opera, the story unfolds. So if you kind of plant yourself, we used to call them the park and barks, the opera singers who would say they just park and bark and they wouldn't really express. This is something something that's organically unfolding and occurring. It doesn't just, it's not just in your head. You're telling this story as you're feeling it.
Yeah.
So you have to think about the words that you're saying. So he is sitting there saying, for the joy of admiring you. Like, this is like a really internal song. And then, voglio amarvi, I want to love you. And then, o lucicare, which is, oh eyes dear, or oh dear eyes, or sweet eyes, you might say in English, right? And then, amando penero. Penero means I will suffer. So for my loving you, I'm going to suffer. So there's a sadness there. And then, ma sempre v'amerò, but, ma is but, sempre means always. I'm always gonna love you anyway, even though I'm suffering. So this, as you write in each word that, you know, the English that you'll understand on the actual word-for-word translation, you're gonna be able to express it more, because you're not gonna be thinking, how do I say this? You're gonna be saying, how do I express this feeling?
Yeah.
Okay, and then si nel mio penare, yes, once again, because in opera there's always a ton of repetition. They like to say over and over, yes, I will suffer. Oh, I know that's going to happen, and I will suffer. I'm going to suffer, but I'm always going to love you. So this song is all about, I look at you, I admire you, and for whatever reason, doing that's going to make me suffer. So there's obviously some tragic element to this of them not being able to be together, right? So that's what it's about. There's a longing here.
Yeah.
I'm going to put this back up just in case you need to look over, because I've given you some things to think about. So try not to look, but if you need to, you can look.
Are we going from the beginning?
Yeah, I want to start from, because he doesn't do the whole thing. I'd like to just start from the beginning. But FYI, you already know the rest of the song, you just don't know the Italian.
Yeah.
Because it repeats! So you don't need to learn anything new. You know, you just get back down here and it's the second verse with the Italian. All right. That was a nice posture. String.
E la gloria adorarvi, voglio amarvi, o lucicare.
Okay, you did the diphthong. Stop
Yeah.
one more time. That's okay, but I really liked that line. Now, this time you didn't trill on that note, which is fine. You didn't kind of do this right here.
Oh yeah.
So, can you just try to, and you know what a trill is? It's ya-da-da-da-da-da. You can practice that, but you can just throw in an ornament that's not really a trill, because back then, these people in this time period were like, you know, kind of the pop divas of today, like Mariah Carey's my generation. But you know how they do these riffs? And they all just kind of pick what they want to do to ornament a song? That's what they did back here. So some of these are just suggestions, and you can find something for yourself to throw in there. So for this trill, you could do, can you give me that B to the E? So just do from voglio. You can sing this.
Voglio
Amarvi,
amarvi,
o
o
luci. And then you go, care. You can just shake it a little bit. Do a little shake there.
lucicare.
That was enough. Did you hear that? That was actually almost really a trill.
Yeah.
Did you hear
Yeah,
that?
that's close.
So, okay, start from the beginning one more time.
Do you want it a cappella or with the track?
No, let's do it with the track. Keep that good posture, shoulders back, the string, lifting your neck high with the chin, perfect chin position. Feel your body move
E la gloria adorarvi, voglio amarvi, o lucicare. E la
Okay,
gloria.
stop. Sorry, I know. But that was really, really good. And you did it mezzo forte, but what does it say to do next?
Yeah. Pianissimo.
So dynamics
Yeah.
are important. Even though it repeats the second time, it's soft.
Yeah.
It's more internal. So it's almost like he's he's declaring, for the glory of loving you, you know, I'm gonna suffer. And then it hits him, for the glory of loving you, I'm gonna suffer. You know, it's internal. So the first time he's saying it like this, and then the second time he's really feeling what he just said.
Mhm.
And I know you can do that. You can do it. So let's just do it one more time. Am I taking a long time?
You're at 20 right now.
Okay, well let's just have him go through what he did at the very beginning and just try to, let's pick one thing. You know what I want you to pick? Your posture, okay? And that's it, because the posture makes a big difference in your sound.
Yeah.
It really does. It keeps the throat more open. When you do this, it collapses something and it gets too wide. But when you did this, you get more of that warmth in the sound. Okay. Nope, no hands in pockets. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. String on the head, marionette.
E la gloria d'adorarvi, voglio amarvi, o luci care. E la gloria d'adorarvi, voglio amarvi, o luci care.
Nice, now you're back to being strong.
Amando penero, ma sempre amerò, sì, nel mio
Okay, stop,
penero,
sorry, I have to stop.
nel mio.
Yes, every time you say mio, that's such an important word because it's mine.
Yeah.
So it's mio.
Mio.
It's never mio. You used to do that. Back in the olden days.
Yes.
A lot of Americans see it and think mio, you know, but it is mio. Mio. Good. I think that one's better. Let's just go back a tiny bit.
Voglio amarvi con luci care, amando penero,
Bite into the bottom.
ma sempre amerò.
Yes.
Sì, nel mio penare.
Again.
Amando penero, ma sempre amerò. Sì, nel mio penare. Penero, amerò,
Sit.
lucicare.
Sit down.
Tenero famero lucicare.
I think that was better. And when you
Yeah.
did bend your knees, so this sitting is a very old German style of getting to the top. And the Germans actually talk about the displacement of tension. So as you're going up and you're worried about your voice kind of getting tight or
Yeah.
cracking, that's why I said bend and sit. And when you sit, I mean, the Germans would say squeeze your butt a little bit because that, I tell a lot of my students, press your toes into the ground because it displaces everything. All the tension goes down and that kind of tension down there helps you feel like you're supporting, you know, it helps everything
Yeah.
kick in the torso.
Yeah, the first panero, I was like, gosh, I did not get a good enough breath for this, so I was like sort of panicking a little
You
bit.
know what you do though? You do get a good amount of breath. It's just with breath, because you don't need, a lot of kids need to breathe more in this song. You get enough breath for your voice, but what you don't always do is have the breath be evenly metered, so that the whole phrase is, it's a little bit sometimes like, it starts and stops a little bit, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you get the breath, and then you just have to trust it and keep it kind of like this, but coming out metered. Like if you were letting the air out of a balloon and you didn't want it to go, you
Yeah.
know? So there's a little bit of pulling back the air that happens with support. You're not just pushing the air out, you're tanked up kind of, and it's vibrating and staying alive, but then you're kind of in control through the words of how how it comes out.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's very helpful.
Yeah, I like to really, well, I had an old teacher back in the day named Mignon Dunn who was a wonderful singer. She sang at the Met for many years, and she used to always, every time I'd come in with a new piece, she was from Arkansas, and she'd say, honey, we're taking it to the woodshed. And so we would work on every word, every note. And that's the way to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah, to have it, when you work on it like this, you never forget your words. You never forget the notes you're singing.
Yeah.
Because you do each little piece over and over and over. And then you put the whole thing together, and it's excellent.
Yeah.
So good job!
Thank you. You're very smart.